Okay, Google Classroom. That's not my session. That's a cool animation, though. Okay, where did I put it? Oh, bear with me, people. I'm sorry. I'm going to stop recording and find the right window. I need... Where is it? Aha. And I start at the end. Good for me. All right. Can everybody see that now that I'm finally organized? All right, let's go into present mode. Thank you for your patience. All right, so Google Classroom. The link at the bottom there is for the slides that go with this, and it'll be on the last slide as well. So we're here to clean up and prepare for next year. And those of you obviously, because of our wonderful COVID, have been using good old Google Classroom already. And you probably have more of them than you want. So we're going to start with cleanup. So first of all, you want to rid your chaos. So I don't know about you guys, but my Google Classroom has probably about 40 or 50 classes. Now, some of that is because when I work with like all the cohorts and I work with teachers, sometimes I become a co-teacher in their classroom. So yes, I have more than the average bear, but if yours is kind of cluttered, then there's a few things that you want to do before you actually kind of call it quits for the year. So the first thing you want to do is if you get your students to do the turn in, to use that feature when they do their work, you want to make sure that you return everything back to them. Now, don't panic. You don't have to go through every assignment and every class individually. If you go to the to-do menu, so this is under the little hamburger in the top left corner, and you go to the to-do menu, it gives you a nice list of everything that you need to do. And so you can just kind of take a peek here and see, okay, 10 students have work turned in here. If you actually click on that assignment, it'll take you to the screen where you would be doing kind of the marking. And all you have to do is put a check mark under
I can hear you again now, ma'am. You were gone for a moment, but your computer is there again. That happened to me too.
I did one of these sessions with her yesterday and she got kicked out. So hopefully she'll just be rejoining right now.
Do you have sound now?
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
I can hear you too.
Okay, Kira's back. Do we have sound?
Yep.
Yep.
Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me now? All
Yep.
right.
You're up.
Sorry about that.
It happens.
Shall I back up, or did you get the point of the first slide by what I was highlighting?
I got to where you said click on the hamburger to see the to-do list and then you froze, but I can't see your slideshow anymore. I'm hearing you through your EdTech account.
Oh, so I must have. I'm gonna shrink here for a second. And let's go take a peek at. Oh, that's because the Google Meet crashed on the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I think that Google Meets. Okay, laptop muted. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. Whew. Okay, I'm going to move this window so I can see it. So if it crashes again, I can see it, because before it was hiding. So I'm going to present. And I want to present this guy. All right. Let's back up. Oh, but as soon as I go full screen, I can't see present anymore. Okay, I'll try and watch my laptop better to see if it disappears. Presenting disappears. Okay, so we're rid of our chaos. We're getting rid of the extras. If you had students turn in, yes, Taryn, this is being recorded and it will be shared out. So students are going to, if students have turned in work, you want to make sure that you return it to them. And the easy way to do that is to go up to your hamburger or hot dogs in the top left, go down to where it says teaching to do, and then it'll pull up all of the assignments that you didn't kind of finish marking per se. And if you do that, then you can just click on an assignment that has work to be turned back in. It'll take you to the screen where you would do your marking, and you can click the little check mark for all students and just click return. So it's nice and quick. It doesn't take a long time, but you want to turn them all back in, because what happens is if you do not return the work, you still own it. So when you finish cleaning up, when you get through the cleanup process, you've basically taken that work away from the students that you didn't return it to. So start by returning. Then you want to tell your students to buzz off in a nice way, of course. And by going to the People tab, going down underneath your list of where your students are, putting a check mark in that first little box, which is going to select all your class. And then once you've done that, under the action menu, you want to remove them from the class. Now, the reason you want to remove students from the class is because if you leave them in your class when you archive it, they still have access to all those assignments. Now, if you're in grade 2, big deal. If you're in older grades, you're kind of, there's potential integrity of your assignments if you do reuse them, because now they have access to the whole assignment, not just what they did to complete the assignment. And so they literally could share whole assignments for the whole year with whoever they want and pass your assignments back on. Plus, it's just best practice to remove them from a class, because then when they open their Google Classroom next year, they don't have all last year's classes still sitting there. Okay. Then the last thing you're going to do is you're going to archive those classes that you've used this year. You do not archive them if you still have students in. Okay. But to archive, you just go to the tile for each Google Classroom, click the 3 dots, go down to archive, and then this other little window pops up and you're going to click archive. Now, I do want you to notice here where the exclamation mark is that class files will remain in Google Drive. So even though you're archiving your class, you're literally just moving it to a different section of Google Classroom where it is kind of hidden from your chaotic front page view, but it's still sitting there. And so those assignments and those the students' work that goes along with it, even after you've told them to buzz off and gotten rid of them, those things still stay in that folder that Google auto-created called Classroom in your Google Drive. So you can use previous year's student work and take screenshots of it, etc., to make it exemplars for future years if you do that assignment again. Okay. The reason that we archive is because you do not want to reuse classes. When you just like boot the kids out and then reuse the class, everything is already published. So literally they're seeing kind of the whole year or the whole semester's work before they even get started. Okay. Then you want to remove your Google Classroom calendars if you use Google Calendar. And so literally it's just as easy as going and find, now this is not really a Google Classroom, but just to show you, find the 3 dots, go over to sharing and settings, and then you want to delete that calendar from your calendar. Okay. If you don't, you're going to get a list that's a mile long of classrooms that you don't care about. And this delete button is way at the bottom of the settings and sharing screen. So just make sure you delete those and keep your Google Calendar clean as well. All right, so we've done all that. We've kind of cleaned up. We want to get ready for next year. So for next year, what we want to do is copy, create, and organize. So these are some really good tips for you to help you prep for next year. So if you want to do that Google Bootcamp course again with new students, what you're going to do is you're going to go get it and copy it. Now, the reason you want to do that is because Google copies almost everything, but what's really nice is it puts all of the assignments into draft mode. Now, because they're in draft mode, they don't see them until you assign them. Whereas if you did that, boot the kids out, and then just reuse the class as it was, they're seeing everything. So make a copy of the class, and you'll notice that when you press the copy button, it's going to create the new class with all the same topics you had already set up, all the classwork items that were there in draft form. The only thing it won't copy is the students and announcements, because they're expecting that your announcements would change as to when things are happening. Okay. Now, if you archived, which I've already told you to do, you can, from an archived class, which you access from going to the very bottom of your class list to where you're enrolled in any classes, to underneath there where it says archived classes. And once you're in the archive screen, you do also have that copy feature, the same copy feature we had in a live class. Okay. Now, I know I'm in an archived class because of all these beautiful little lines through it. That shows me that this is an archived class. Okay, I don't see any questions in the chat box, so I'll just keep going. Create new classrooms. So any courses that are new to you, you're going to create them. I recommend you put the semester and or year in the section, just because it makes it a little bit easier when we go to reuse assignments in future years or semesters. Okay, subject and room, not mandatory. Fill them in if you want. Organize your classrooms. Now, this is some things that sometimes people don't know this, and they haven't kind of fallen upon it accidentally by clicking and dragging accidentally. But you can literally click and hold and drag your courses around. So you can sort them alphabetically if you want, by grade if you want. However you want to sort, you can just drag and drop. If you don't want to drag and drop, you can also click on the 3 dots of any course tile, click the move button, and then it'll bring you a list up of all your courses, and you can click where you want it after. So if I want Google Bootcamp to be after grade 4B, I would click on 4B, and it would put it after that. If I want it right at the top, I could click to the beginning, and if I want it at the bottom, I can click to the end. So hopefully that's a cool little tip you didn't know. So now I've got my courses set up for next year. I've copied the ones. I've got everything in draft. Here's some ways to make your Google Classroom more efficient. So this is an idea that I just learned this spring that I think is brilliant. Create a template classroom or classrooms, depending on how many courses you use Google Classroom for. And this can be just for you, or maybe a friend or two if you want. But the idea behind this is, instead of creating those assignments in your current classroom and then leaving them in draft and blah, 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 you can leave your Google Classroom, your current one that you're using with your students, nice and clean and crisp. And you, in this template classroom, can be creating all of these assignments and stuff that you're going to use in your classroom or other classrooms. So in this example, this is a template for grade 4 for next year. So what I can do here is set up topics to sort things. And so if I was doing this, I would have a topic for each subject. Now, if you're doing this with a friend or two, literally each of you can create assignments in here, and then each person that is a teacher, and you can have up to 20 teachers in a Google Classroom, everybody that's a teacher, co-teacher in here can be creating the assignments. You leave all of them, absolutely all of them, always stay in draft format. And then each of you that's part of this little collaboration team can then go to your real Google Classroom for grade 4 math, and I can click reuse from the template classroom, and I can pull that assignment in, tweak it for my students, assign it to those students that I want it to go to, and I have that kind of collaboration that's all ready to roll. Now, if it's just for me, maybe I'm planning ahead. I can have whole units planned, and I don't have to be scrolling through those in my active classroom. They're in my template classroom ready to roll. I think that's a brilliant tip. I'd love to collaborate with other teachers. Modify the stream. This is one thing that when I use a Google Classroom, I always come into the settings, which would be your gear in the top right-hand corner, and I always tweak these two. The stream, I always start the year with only teachers can post and comment. I want to have that discussion with my students. Can they actually use that commenting right, because it is a right, successfully? Or do they abuse it? So we have a chat about it when there's a time and it's appropriate, depending on the age level, for them to be able to comment on assignments, etc. Then I'll come back in and move it up a level. If I want to take that class, that specific class, to the next level, I could actually let them post and then be able to comment on each other's posts. So set that to what's appropriate for your students, but I recommend you always start with only teachers until you've had that discussion about what's appropriate. Then your stream doesn't fill with, sup, this is cool. Now, they might not think Google's Classroom's quite so cool after all these COVID months, but it's still going to happen where they're inappropriate. The other one I change is the show condensed notifications. And this is your stream. The stream to me is kind of like a Facebook feed, and it becomes really bogged down sometimes. So what I like to do is either show the condensed notification. So if they really want it, they have to click on it to see all parts of it, or hide notifications, because if you hide notifications, then the classwork page is the classwork page. The stream is the announcements. The stream is those posts that you specifically put there, and it doesn't become so cluttered. Right? Management tips. Announcements. So one of the cool things you could do, because Google Classroom can get very text heavy, because there's no, you can't bold things, you can't italicize, you can't change the color of words, that kind of thing. They haven't made it friendly that way yet. And so you can use emojis though to actually make it prettier. Okay, and I've got something later here that I'll show you that will let you get those emojis. The other management tip for you is if you go to the People tab and you click on a student's name, it'll actually show you all of the work that they have and haven't completed. So you don't need to go through all your assignments individually. Go to each student and you'll see what they've done and what they haven't done. The next thing is use the topics. Set your course up so that the topics benefit the layout based on the age of your students. And these are just some examples of how you can set them up. Unit, by day, by week, by kind of work. Pick the one that works best for your students. And at the end of this video, I actually have a link to a video, or at the end of this presentation, sorry, I actually have a link to a video that will let you see a few other ideas as well. But these are kind of, for me, I find the best layouts for using the topics. Okay, manage your notifications. Most of you probably got 150 emails a day from Google Classroom, or 150 a week, because of the avalanche of emails that come with Google Classroom. So again, if you go to your three dots in the top left, or three lines, sorry, in the top left-hand corner of your Google Classroom, slide all the way down to the bottom of the list, you'll find your settings. And if you come in here, you can turn on email notifications. Now, don't just turn it off, because then you miss everything. Turn it on, leave it on here, but when you come down here, be picky about what emails you want to get. Don't just leave it free for all, email me everything. And when you get to this class notifications, if you open this one up, because it'll be closed by default, it's going to show you every Google Classroom that you're a part of. And you can literally turn on or off certain ones. Okay? So use that manage notifications and be picky. Differentiation. Google Classroom is amazing for differentiation because you've got that ability not to assign every assignment to every student in your class. So again, back to the emojis concept, here's a little website, emojipedia.org, that allows you to grab emojis and put them into the names of your assignments or within an assignment. Now, putting that emoji in, you can use it really well in the names of your assignments by differentiating. So if you have an announcement, get maybe that speaker, like the loudspeaker emoji. And whenever they see that, they know it's an assignment versus the emoji for an assignment. Okay, so depending on your students, you can use emojis really effectively. Okay. Assign to only a few. Again, if you haven't found this feature in there already, when you are in Google Classroom and creating an assignment or an announcement, by default, it's going to be checked off for all students. You literally can change that so that an assignment goes only to a group of 4 students and a different assignment goes to the rest of the class, or half and half. Or even if you're doing small group work, you can have each group get their own assignment. You're going to see all 4 groups, in yours, but they're only going to see the one they were assigned. Benefit to that is if you use emojis to help you out, when you assign it, it literally, you can tell that they're different because of the different emojis for the 4 groups, but they just think that's the emoji for the assignment or for their group. Okay, so use these 2 in combination to help you differentiate in Google Classroom. Google Classroom is really great for helping you evaluate. So use Google Keep, which is the next session after lunch, to help you with evaluation. Use the comment bank that's built into Google Classroom. It takes a little bit of time to set up, but those comments that you put in when you're marking in Google Classroom, if you've got the comment bank useful there, it's easy to copy and paste them in. Use the feature that allows you when you're marking to go straight from student to student instead of having to close the tab, go back, find the next kid, click on it, it opens a tab, you mark that one, you close the tab. There is a little up-down arrow or left-right arrow beside the student name. Use that to switch students, and then you can be efficient with your marking. And lastly, add self-check questions to your classwork page. It's an easy way to do some quick formative assessment as they're going through their assignments. Last but not least, some additional resources for you. Here are some links. Each of the heading titles is a link to a video that shows you some extra features, extra ideas. If you like the emoji one, here's an extension. In this video, it's a little bit of an older video, so Google Classroom looks a little bit different. And the extension that they recommend doesn't work anymore. So this is kind of the replacement for it. So there's a link to it. And just basically, yeah, there's some extra for you, some more things if you want to dig deeper into how to reuse assignments, how to communicate better. Did you know you can email all your students from within Google Classroom? And that if you have the parent guardian feature turned on, did you know you could email all the parents as well? Just little things that I thought I would share with you. Okay. Any questions?
If we're going to have the same class of students next year, like right now I have my grade 8 English class, I'll be teaching them again next year, grade 9 English class. Is there a way to add them all to a grade 9 English classroom without having to get them all to rejoin or send invitations?
No, you can't transfer them to a different class.
Okay, so I can't, it would be nice if I could archive what's in their current classroom and just change the name of it, but you can't do that without just kicking them out and archiving the class, right?
Yeah, basically the only way you could do it was leave the students in the class, go into settings and change the name, but then you'd manually have to delete every assignment so that they weren't staring at 2 years worth of assignments. Right. So probably you want to just do a new classroom. It would be half of one, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, because you either need to add them all back in or you need to spend the time deleting all the assignments.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
No problem. Any other questions? That was a good one. You can still ask questions if you want. I'm just going to put up the last screen here. You know my contact information. Feel free to ask questions if you want. We are redesigning this summer our Weebly website. We're going to put some of the COVID stuff into it that will still apply, to normal teaching, we'll call it, if there is such a thing anymore. And so look for a new look to our Weebly website next year. And also Leah and I now have a PW EdTech account. And with that, we've created a Google, just lost the word, a YouTube channel. That's what I was looking for. And so we'll be sharing that out as well, the YouTube channel, and we'll be putting videos and stuff up there, as well as on the Weebly website, just to make it kind of an easier place to go. because that way you could subscribe to our YouTube channel, and whenever we put new videos out, you just get that notification. Tracy wants to know if she can watch this again. Absolutely. I'll be back again on Thursday if you want to do it then, or the recording will be posted in the YouTube channel and eventually on the Weebly once we release the new design. So, and for attendees, we will actually be sending you out the links as an email for the sessions that you've attended. So you don't even have to go searching for it, but you definitely can watch it again. All right. Thank you all for coming. And I kept you 8 minutes over your lunch. So enjoy your lunch. And I will stop presenting here and turn off the recording. And if you want to stick around, if you have any other questions, just let me know. And you know how to reach me if you think of something later. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. Bye.
Bye.